I'd like to call our meeting to order. We'll stand for the invocation and pledge the flag.
Lord, we acknowledge your presence among us tonight, and we pray for your guidance during this meeting. Give our council members the wisdom to work in the best interest of everyone in our community. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could we have the roll call, please?
Becker?
Here.
Souter?
There.
Yes.
Challenger? Yes. Simpson?
Yes.
Lakeman? Willards?
Here.
Latham? Everyone have the mics on?
Okay, you have a copy of the minutes of the June 16th, 2015 meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? If not, they will stand. We have two things going for us tonight. Lance, you have a public hearing at 7:15. We have an executive session before that. Are we going to be back at 7:15?
We're trying as best we can. That's the plan.
Okay. I'd like to do one thing before we go so they don't have to wait. Item J on the next page. I'd like a motion to concur with the city manager and Chief Gladys to appoint Jordan Bradley to the auxiliary police force of the city of Columbiana. Chief,
Second.
any discussion? Deanne?
Becker?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Schlenker?
Yes.
Challenger? Yes. Simpson?
Yes.
Dan, would you? Or Chief, would you have any comments first?
Just briefly, I know you're on a schedule. Jordan Bradley's 18 years old. He's been our Explorer for about the past 4 years. He's described as a shining example of an outstanding explorer, and he is moving into the position of chief of the Explorer Club. He's enrolled in fall classes at YSU. He's a major in criminal justice, and he intends to attend the police academy in his second year. He's always wanted to pursue a career in law enforcement. He's been with us quite a while, done a great job. We're glad to have him moving up to law authority.
Dan, would you do the honors?
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear that you will uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio, and the laws and ordinances of the city of Columbiana, so long as you shall remain an auxiliary patrolman for the city of Columbiana. If so, say I do.
I do.
Welcome.
You have me to speak. I hope I got on the good side of you, because you were way back on the agenda after taking. I don't think I have the power, but I'm going to change the public hearing to 7:25. And we do have an executive session for confidential information, and I promise it will be as quickly as possible. We'll be right back. So could I get a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Deanne?
Souter?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Schlenker?
Yes.
Challenger? Yes. Simpson?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
I do like to do this, folks, go into that, but if somebody in the audience could do some shuffling or something entertaining when we're out. So we have a motion by Dick, and who seconded it?
I did.
And Dick seconded it, come out of executive session. call, please.
McBain?
Yes.
Schoniger?
Yes.
Callen? Yes. Simpson?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes. I have two proclamations to read tonight. Oh, we have to do the public hearing. Thank you so much. Public hearing. We're late. The public hearing is on signs, and Lance or Dan, do you want to have words on this? Or Dick?
We've had discussions on this before regarding the need to clarify the use of banners and the need to clarify the use of signs when public events are to take place. The proposed change is, I think, quite clear and easily understood, and it should be noted that signs used in the past in terms of number and size with regard to public activities would not fall within the parameters here, but these parameters seem to be reasonable based upon discussion of the planning commission, the public, and the council in the past. So I don't think there's any question on it now. If there is, it should be raised in the public hearing.
Is there any questions on the, they've been talked about at planning commission and otherwise on the public hearing on the signs? This concerns events like your wine fest, different things, clearing up what can be put on. For instance, public activity, one unlighted sign, maximum 32 square feet, not to exceed 30 days, removed right after the event.
Excuse me, Mo.
It's eight.
That was the previous,
That's the previous one?
that's the previous one.
Wow.
Basically, it's allowing a little more leeway in signage than what we had before.
Okay, public activity signs, 8 unlighted signs, maximum 32 square feet, 14 days prior to the event, removed immediately after the event, placed 10 feet away from any right of way. Very leeway on that. Are there any questions from anybody in the audience on the signs that we're going to vote on? If not, we'll close this public hearing and we'll move on. I have two proclamations to read tonight. The first proclamation, whereas the Civil Service Commission was formed May 2001 after the village of Columbiana became a city on March 30th, 2001. Whereas Patricia did faithfully serve as a commission member from October 16th, 2012 until she resigned May 15th, 2015. Whereas she was dedicated and sacrificed her valuable time to serve on the commission to enforce the rules and procedures established to ensure fairness to all employees of the city of Columbiana. And whereas Patricia's devotion to serving on the commission has earned her the respect and friendship of her fellow commission members, fellow citizens, and the employees of the city of Columbiana. Now therefore, we, the City Council of Columbiana, do hereby proclaim our appreciation to Patricia Lalonde and do further express our friendship and good wishes for its health and prosperity and enjoyment of life. And the second one is a proclamation for whereas the Green Thumb Garden Club of Columbiana and the Columbiana Garden Club have rendered service to our community for many years and continue to do so, and this deserves special recognition. Whereas the members of the Garden Clubs donate many hours of their valuable time and monetary contributions to beautify the city square and certain areas in Firestone Park in the city of Columbiana with flowers. And whereas their dedication to the community has earned them respect and appreciation from all city officials as well as the community as a whole. And now therefore, we, the council of the city of Columbiana, do hereby proclaim our appreciation to the Green Thumb Garden Club of Columbiana and the Garden Club of Columbiana, and do further express our sincere gratitude to them for their dedication of service to the city and its citizens. Those two proclamations will be signed and given to these people. Communications, I have one. Dear City Council, I would like permission for Columbiana Little Clipper football to hold a tag day on Saturday, 8/8/2015, from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at various locations throughout the community. Community support for our organization helps us keep sign-up fees within a reasonable price so that more kids can participate. We appreciate your support. Kara Kupa, Little Clipper Football Fundraising Coordinator. Is this on our agenda later on?
Yes, it's under new business.
It's underneath the other? Okay, we'll act on that when the time comes. Okay, you have copies of the Park Recreation and Cemetery Board meeting minutes of June 22nd, and also the Planning Commission meeting minutes of July 14th. Are there any comments on these two reports?
I have one question on the park board. I noticed they removed the wooden post along the roads in the park. It does look very, very nice. One concern I have, however, is people now potentially parking on the grass. I have seen that occurring over by the left on the road. Do we have plans to put something in to try to reduce that problem should it occur? I haven't seen a lot of them, but I just think it's something we need to be concerned about.
Due to the shortness of the time, they won't be able to do much with the upcoming events that were happening. But there will be signage made and posted around the park itself.
Anyone else? If not, we will go on to the recognition of persons designed to hear report of council, and Mr. Rance is on the agenda.
Thank you, my name is Paul Rance with the Chamber of Commerce. And I'm here this evening to have permission to have a Christmas parade on November 20th. Starting at the Johnson Dixon School, coming up Main Street, and ending at the diner. It'll be November 20th, Friday night.
Good with you, Chief?
Yes, sir. Mr. Rance and I have discussed this already. We revamped the flow pattern last year. We both think it worked pretty well, and we're happy to support that again this year.
Is this on the agenda later, Jim? No, it isn't.
No, I don't believe it is. What time?
That's at 6 o'clock. And light up will be at 5:30.
Would
It will
someone
be 6 o'clock.
I'll make a movement to approve the request.
Second.
Is there discussion on this? We appreciate all the work you do, Mr. Rance.
Thank you.
For a young guy, you're doing pretty good.
Any more discussion? Deanne?
Schwanker?
Yes.
Calendar? Yes. Simpson?
Yes?
Becker?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes.
Gooding?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're in business. Thank you for your service. Next, who has to be on the agenda, Michelle Good from Sin Energy. What are you recycling?
Hello, everything's good. Basically, I just want to talk to everybody about the recycling event that we did last year. We'd like to do that again in the park. We're planning on doing it this Symphony, which is also the same time as city cleanup. We're hoping that that works out a little bit better for everybody, that you can drop items at the same time, save a little bit of time. I know I talked to Lance about it already, but obviously I'll abide by whatever the sign rules are for this year.
It did work out really well. You had a couple truckloads last year.
Yeah, we pulled 2 semis out last year and stuff.
This is a service to the community that they take old computers, monitors.
Yeah,
VCRs.
VCRs, servers. I have a list here. I can give you, a copy if you want to see what it is, show the word.
Maybe you can get one to clean.
Actually, you can have the rest of these. It's not a custom down.
I think it's a real service you provide. instead of these things going illegally into trash somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I believe it'll make town cleanup and more efficient, so we don't have to hold on and stuff. We don't have to hold on until Friday or Tuesday. That's fine.
Do we need a motion on this? Okay, you're good.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else in the audience would like to speak tonight? Yes, sir. Mr. McCullough.
Some time ago, you had to add $1 surcharge on water stuff for the faulty site. There has been nothing taken care of here at council with the advertisement. You don't know if you're saving any money because you have not advertised. The $5,000 pump that they're going to put in today is going to cost $5,500 in 6 months from now. When are we going to take some action on the water treatment plant?
First off, Mike, can you give us some approximate amount we build up in that fund? It's a down payment on water plant?
I don't have that with me, I could go get it.
No, just approximate.
Well, last year, it was started in October, it was 3 months, but I think we brought in about $108,000. We're bringing in about $35,000 a month. So this year, it's I think it's about up to 200. So we're probably over 300,000 from to this date.
And that is put in a fund just to go towards the water plant.
That's fine, but you had it engineered, you had it re-engineered, at what cost?
We had it engineered and re-engineered, and we saved millions of dollars by doing that.
Possible.
No, we did.
Possible. Once you get it re-advertised for bids, you don't know
Well,
if you saved.
that's
any
true,
money
we
or
haven't
not.
re-advertised it. You're right.
I think it needs to be re-advertised for bids.
It will, you know, the time.
Yeah, I just met, Matt and I met with representatives for Arcadis last Tuesday, and they are right on doing the final engineering, right on the preliminary engineering report that we submitted to the USDA recently. And they should be done with that October 2nd, and then shortly after that, we will be on schedule to go out to bids, hopefully to break ground spring of 2016.
I'm just hoping somebody takes some action on it. This is going on enough.
It has.
Everything goes up every day.
It's been a long haul.
Let you know, Dale, I've been pretty tough on that guy over in the corner asking those same questions. And he's not alone.
We maybe should be more vocal than we are working on it. But it's been a daily thing for Lance. Anyone else in the audience? Yes,
Mr.
sir.
McCullough, thank you for bringing that up seriously, because it was a week ago, I sat down with this gentleman and I asked that same hard question. The tough part about a lot of this is it's like a snail's pace, and I wish it could be quicker, because that's very frustrating. And so we share your frustration along with our.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Skip Liston, 710 Radcliffe Pass in Old Saybrook. I was wondering if we could get an update on where we are with the water pressure issue.
I can give you an update.
That we can do.
On the agenda tonight, we have hiring Howes and Baird to do the engineering. We're going to get started. We just received the OPWC notification of final funds available last week, so we're ready to go and going to start moving quickly.
Any idea when we'll sign?
I would hope to break ground late fall.
And completion, just an estimate?
I would say early spring.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this where we talk about, I talked to Lance, my name's Jill, I'm from Mercantile on Sword. Is this where we talk about the parking, or do I have to wait for you guys to bring it up?
I guess this is where you talked about it.
Okay. Did we have anywhere that we're at with this? I mean, I talked to Lance at length, I talked to Mr. Simpson yesterday. I was wondering what the rest of, where we're at, because you did explain it wasn't on the agenda. I guess I don't understand how things like that don't get on the agenda, but is there anywhere we're at with it?
Well, tonight I was going to bring it up in my manager's report, just
Oh.
stating that we really need to make a decision, because as we know, that there is no parking allowed on Park Avenue at this time. We've come up with one alternative, which would be to bump in the sidewalk, and that would cost approximately $17,000. We think as a city that we could reduce that by doing part of the work ourselves, maybe a couple grand. And then there was a $1,500 contingency in there. So if you subtract that out, that's what we'd be out if we would do that. If you recall, John Von Ogle had looked at moving the line, simply moving the line over, and made the recommendation not to do that. So as it stands, it's still illegal to park there, and it's a safety hazard right now. I did speak to you last week. I did call Housing Fair to see if we had any other ideas, and could not think of anything else. I know you had mentioned about the old ordinance and referring to different routes and everything. And he mentioned again that the latest study was done with the latest traffic counts, which was over 4,000. So that would be the major thoroughway through the town, and that would still require the, I think it's 36 feet, and it's only 30 feet. That's where it stands.
Lance, this 36 and 32 feet thing, I looked up your own ordinances, and you guys have 32 feet as the requirement for a narrow road to allow for one lane of parking and a 10-foot pass around to the middle of the road.
And that
And we measured it, it's 32.
It is 32,
Right.
but that is like a non-thoroughfare. That would be like one of the side streets that doesn't have that.
And what are you saying this road is exactly?
They performed traffic counts back in early 2000. On that road, right there, it's approximately 4,000 cars go by a day, which, bumps it into a different category for parking rules and regulations.
So the road is now considered what?
Thoroughfare.
Thoroughfare.
So that doesn't apply to your narrow streets?
No.
Okay. All right, well, I mean, we still have this issue. The law, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask a question. You pulled up the old ordinance, if you will, of 1950. How do you do that? I mean, because I have talked to several people about this ordinance that know a lot about ordinances, and they're saying that it may have been repealed over the
It
years.
was not.
How do you know, though?
I
Explain
know
to
that
me.
it has not been revealed, that is the law. There's no parking anywhere on East Park Avenue. And unless this council elects to make some change, either by repealing that law, which neither the police chief nor I recommend, if you do that, unless you do that, or unless you agree to spend money to improve or to remove the curb, the police chief has no choice but to enforce that law and to paint that curb yellow, indicating that there's no parking on that, in that area. There's never been any parking around.
Well, that is not what the letter says to me from Bob Alden. He says it's absolutely storefront parking, and
Well, Bob Elding's wrong. I can't tell you any more than that.
well, I mean, honestly, did anyone go through 60-some years of city council meetings and minutes to make sure that that was never repealed?
I can tell you that it has not been repealed. I can also tell you that as a property owner, you're not permitted to park there in any case, even if there was a parking space there. And there isn't, but if there was, under our site plan review process, the store owner or the employees are not permitted to park on the street.
Well, that never came out in my site.
Well, that is part of your due diligence when you seek to do business in town. That is the code. I told you this before at the last meeting. So you're in violation of really two ordinances, no parking and not abiding by the site plan review, which requires business owners to park behind or in some other area, not on the public street.
There are a lot of business owners that park on the public street. I can take photographs for you if you don't.
We're only talking about yours at this
Okay, well,
point.
and I'm just a little curious, why is my store the subject of all of this all of a sudden?
Because you're parking in a no parking zone.
It's a no parking zone from 1950.
That's
We don't
correct.
understand, to me, I can't look at anything on the computer today to see that that law has never been repealed over the years. I did talk to American Legal Publishing. They did say that in 1974, when they codified the city ordinances, that law was not put forth to them to put into your current code. So they said I should check the records and the minutes of all of the
You are
meetings.
more than welcome to come in and go through every ordinance book we have from 1934, if you'd like to look for.
Well,
You're
it is an
perfectly free to
issue.
do it.
I mean,
I'm telling you, that is the law. I'm the law director. That's my job to tell you that. If you don't believe it, you can check it for yourself.
well, I do believe that people sometimes don't do the work to look it over because it's not as important to them as it is to somebody else, perhaps. And if there's no simple way for you to explain to me that I could go look at it, I'm looking for information. That's all I'm looking for because I want to verify it because it's an important issue for me.
I've given you all the information that I have.
I can tell you this. 1982, 16 years later, that ordinance was not repealed. Lowell, you took over after me and been on planning, or on council ever since. Has it been repealed since you took over from me?
No.
We can guarantee you that. 1982 is when I took office, as
Well,
mayor.
the only thing I look at is in 1950, when it was, the building was built in 1919. In 1950, there was some business in there. And somebody came along and they took money from the state to do the resurfacing project, and they agreed that there would be no parking on either side of Park Avenue at that point. But by 4 years later, and 7 years later, by 1957, the state abandoned East Park Avenue and took its Route 14 and Route 46 elsewhere. So my point is, if there was a business in there, I'm sure somebody was relying on that storefront parking at that point in time. And I wonder why, or if it was possibly repealed back in the 50s, maybe the 60s even, there had to be a business in there. Somebody had to care about the parking.
Since 1973, in the enactment of our zoning code and the establishment of site plan review for businesses, no business, yours, neither yours or anyone else, has any right to rely on any public parking, even if it is legitimate. The parking is there for the public, not for you or for, now, that's true for any business, and that's been the law for 40 years.
Okay, well, I don't care about the parking for me. I mean, Dick was at my business yesterday with Ted, and we talked about that. And I said, that is really not my main concern. I don't care if I don't park there. There were days when I did a little bit because I was scared in the winter. I didn't want to go out back by myself. And nights I've been at that business till midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. It was a little bit scary going out back. But that's not the important issue. The only thing I care about is that customers can see when they pull up to my store that there's some way to park right there. That's all I care about. So I don't need to leave my obviously offensive black vehicle out there. It's big, I know. I don't even like it. I don't like it in front of my store window. But I was trying to help my business because it's a new business. I'm trying to get as much traffic flowing to it as I possibly can. It's a normal thing. People want to do that for their businesses. We don't mean to break your laws or offend you on any level, but when I went to Mr. Belving in the beginning and I asked him that, it was because it was an important question to me. So now everyone's just acting like I'm somehow to blame because I care about it, and it's
We're
not
to
fair.
blame. We're simply telling you what the state of affairs is.
Okay, and I'm asking, are we ever going to be able to reach a resolution about it? I don't care about parking my car in the front, that's not important. Okay, I've since, Chief has come to me in my business after our last meeting here. He met with me and my father, like a gentleman, I have to admit, okay? And he said that he was going to have to issue some warnings while this is being contemplated by you all, and until we find a resolution, and that it was to protect the city. Was I happy about that? No, I wasn't. You know why I wasn't? Because I did my due diligence and I was told it was legal parking. So please, the point of the matter is, he has since changed his mind somewhere along the line. And even though he told me it would never result in citations, he said it to me and my father, he has since left a letter on the car saying that if I parked there anymore after the 16th, that he was going to issue citations to me and to others. I take it others means my customers, is that what you're saying?
And others means anyone who illegally parks, whoever that
Okay.
is.
And this is my plea to you all, please understand, these are customers, this is a business. If it wasn't an important issue to me, I would have never gone to Bud Belding and asked him in the beginning. It is an important issue. There is not much parking at that building. You know, and for people to have to go in the back and walk around the front, it just, I mean, I guess the question is, do you like having a business in there? You know, the traffic flow is essential.
And we understand your plight in order to move along, because we have a lot of things on the agenda. Lance, can you bring this to a head by the, we don't have a meeting the 1st of August, the first 2 weeks, do we?
No, we don't. And
So by the third week in August, can we get planning commission, whoever, to bring this to a resolution somehow? Yes, no, or
It
indifferent?
is resolved from the chief's perspective and my perspective. It's only if the council takes some action
That's what I'm asking.
contrary to what, but in the meantime, that is a no parking zone and it will have to be treated as such.
We need to bring it to a conclusion. Yes, no, we're not gonna do anything, yes, we are, whatever.
so I guess in my manager's report, I would ask you to either ask me to move forward to create a bump in. I have looked at our other resources as far as the engineering. Can't move the line, so I would look for council to either change the law or have me move the bump in.
I would say, even if we put the bump in, by the way that ordinance reads, we have to change that ordinance as well, because even with the bump in, the ordinance says no parking East Park Avenue from the square to city limit. So we would have to change that ordinance.
Can I say something, please? We talked yesterday about the potential of signs. Is that a possibility? I mean, 2-hour parking signs?
I'll say in our conversation yesterday, I made a recommendation to this young lady. She has a rear door, goes right into her parking. I suggested she put a sign up, something to the effect of, for your safety, please park in the rear. Make arrangements for people to come in her rear door rather than park in the front, which is illegal. And this is for their own safety. The statement I got from her is, I can't do that. So that's the best resolution I can come up to the problem. She's not willing to do that, so I don't know what to say.
Well, I seem to recall, Ted, you were there.
Yeah.
We did talk about the possibility, he didn't make any promises, but possibly considering putting 2-hour parking signs in front of my,
Well, we did,
If you will, I made the statement, even if the parking is allowed there at some time, it wouldn't be more than 2-hour parking, because that's the way it is all up and down the business district, was a statement I made.
that's fine. And that's not a big.
Only if we resolve it to the point that you have parking there.
Would be great. I mean, honestly, it is a business. I mean, I know it's very hard. I don't know how many of you here are business people. I don't know you, Mr. Becker, from Adam. I understand it was one of your concerns up front. You were driving by the business one day, I was told, and you saw somebody go over the yellow line, and you raised this issue at council back in November. And that's how it all, okay. And you've lived in the area all your life? and-
That's too.
Okay, but you never saw anyone else go over the yellow line until I got into that building, correct?
I wouldn't say it's just because you got into the building. I would say that it's been something that you observe as you're driving up towards the square.
Well, there's a lot of safety issues involved in the square area if somebody wants to get real technical about it. And I'm sure there's been history of, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, Chief Gladys, have you ever issued parking tickets in front of that building before in all your years? I don't know how long you've been on the force.
We've issued parking tickets anywhere there's illegal parking when it comes to our attention. In this case, we've had 6, now 7 complaints. As I explained to the council before, there are certain amounts of staffing resources and certain things you're focused on. Those things get triaged, in a department of this size. When something like this comes to the attention of the police, we're obligated to go check it. And when we find out that the complaint is true, we're obligated to act. And that's what happened in this case. It has nothing to do with you as an
In
individual.
order to move on with our meeting, I myself will hold a council meeting, council members, this due to the next meeting, and get their wish so that on the next meeting, we can vote yes to do a bump in, no to not do a bump in, to change the ordinance or whatever. But we have to move on tonight.
You will put it on the agenda though for the next meeting, is that what I'm to understand? Is it on the agenda officially?
I make a motion, we put this conversation on the agenda, and put it to bed next meeting, either yea or nay.
Yes, I agree. I'll second that. Any discussion?
Thank you.
Deanna?
Challenger?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes?
Becker?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Schlenker?
Yes. Anyone else in the audience?
Point of order, sir, just so we're clear, parking is illegal on East Park Avenue. Until that changes, I just want you to understand, I don't want you to have a surprise if you find a parking mechanism. It's illegal, the warning period is passed. I just want to be
Sir,
clear.
I have been parking in that parking lot.
I appreciate that very much.
We'll move on.
Thank you.
Real quick, is there any sign right now for people just, is there?
There's a sign that is situated in the block before, this block where she is, there's no pole on which to mount one.
There's
It's
no
all
visible,
concrete.
there's no visible, no parking sign. for the
There's
people
no
that
parking
park.
sign on the east side of the alley that goes right in front of the
We're gonna
Presbyterian.
paint the curb yellow in the morning just to help.
Okay, so something's
Oh.
at least gonna be there.
Okay, all right, then, if you're painting the curb yellow in the morning, can you do something just until this is resolved in court to get a restraining order against him from doing that? Because he's all too anxious to do this to my business. Are you able to do anything?
No, I won't do that, it's not.
He represents council.
All right, well, the thing about it is it is a business, sir, and it is very difficult for people to park down here. We all want commerce in the area. I think that's a common concern for everybody. But if people don't have a place to park, what do you expect to happen
We
to all the
have to
businesses?
move on now.
Okay, but, I mean, you know,
We
that,
understand.
okay, but that is really,
It'll
that's
be on
just
the
not
agenda.
acceptable.
Anyone else in the audience? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Nancy Gigo, and I was at the planning commission last month and realized that I needed to come here. So I'm coming in. My husband and I purchased some property on West Southern Avenue, and in getting the building permits and the things straightened around for the fees, we found that the building permit, building fees, the fees that were levied on the property prior to our purchasing the property. There was a water tap-in fee of $1,250 paid, and an electric meter connection fee of $170 paid. And then in our going to the building, we were explained that there was a $170 electric meter connection fee that we had to pay again, and a water tap-in fee of an additional $950.
Did I understand this was paid by the real estate agent, guys?
It has not been because we have not submitted the bill yet because we are waiting to be able to speak to folks.
You did talk to Lance and, about this, did you not?
No.
You talked to my office about, you came in and to pay that fee, correct?
I take the.
I mean, in order to pay the additional $950, you had to speak. And at that point,
Well, is that when you say speak to us, are you talking about, office?
yeah.
Yes, okay, yes, you did.
Yeah, and then August referred to me, and I spoke to my superintendent. We have changed the meter since then, and then, prices have gone up since then.
Since when, sir?
Since I believe it was what, 2000 you paid? Was it 10 years ago, or 2004 when you paid the
previous
initial
owner.
fee?
The previous owner paid in 2004, that's correct.
Yeah, 2004. So we are honoring the original money that they paid in 2004. We're just asked for the additional $950, which is the current fee.
Okay, but isn't the point of collecting the fee to have the work done?
Yes, but it was never asked to be done, or we would have done it
Was there
now.
going to be for the fee? Was somebody requiring or requesting that? I know I've paid my electric meter connection fee again. Why am I being paid?
Well, I will make a point about the $170. I can look into that, which I don't believe that we talked about at the planning commission. If you paid the $170 meter fee back in 2004, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't honor, that's $170 now. But back in 2004, when you paid the $1,250, the previous owner did, we're giving you credit for that. We're just asking for the additional $950. The fee has changed since then.
Well, I understand the fee has changed, but I thought the point of paying the fee at that time was so that they wouldn't have to pay additionally in the future to connect. Because that was the whole purpose of the fee, was
Well,
not so
typically when you-
that the water line could be distributed throughout the area.
No, that, the tap-in fee is paid when you're about to build a building or a structure. And somebody applied for the permit and we ended up not building that.
So those persons in the town who have property and have paid that connection fee, they will also be assessed another additional fee?
They've already been, they're already in use.
If they have a building lot, if they paid the
Correct.
fee on, but have not
They wouldn't have paid the fee.
Yeah, they wouldn't have paid the fee if they weren't coming in. You pay that right prior to building. And I guess the analogy that I used back at the planning commission was a stamp. If you purchase a stamp in 2004, that current stamp isn't.
Well, as a collector, I guess it would have increased the amount.
The previous owner paid a tap-in fee that was never executed?
Correct.
There was no billing done?
Correct.
Okay.
And now the fee went up $950. So we gave them credit for the $1,250 that the previous owner had paid, but we're asking, or we asked for the additional $950.
Current tap-in fee?
The current tap-in.
Okay. All right.
So I'm to assume that those people who have not tapped in yet,
Correct.
they will be assessed that $950 fee, is that correct?
Well, the assessment and I don't recall if that project was done on assessment out there on Southern Avenue, but assessment and tap-in fee are two different things.
Well, I guess maybe my terminology is incorrect.
Well, when a line is installed, I know that they did the assessment on Bittersweet. Per lineal feet, they had to pay a tap-in fee, or installation fee. But I'm not sure about how the Southern Avenue.
It was done with a grant.
It was done with a
By
grant.
income from property owners.
Okay. So that was above and beyond.
The tap-in fee isn't to connect, it's simply
To connect to the,
connect to the main
Just
line.
connect to the main line, not to
And,
install the
and
one.
so anybody who has property there now who wants to connect to that line has to pay the total tap-in fee, which includes which is about, what is it now, 2,400 or what's the tap-in fee now?
Yeah, so 915,
2250.
2,250.
We paid an additional money so that we could have a.
anybody who's gonna build a house out there would pay $22.50.
Current. Okay, but does that include everyone in town as well?
Everybody in town, anybody.
Okay, so if somebody were to have.
This is the first case I can ever remember. They can have it here forever. Somebody paying one and not using it for that period of time. This has never come up that I know of.
Well,
and building permits even expire after a
Building
year.
permits expire in a
I
year.
understand building permits expire.
Yeah, but
I don't
everybody in
think
town would have to
fees-
pay the $22.50.
The fees do not expire, but, correct?
Fees don't expire. I'm not sure I know that.
Well,
I mean, once they're collected, is that correct?
Yeah, they're collected from everybody.
And so,
So when you came in,
This $150 that had already been paid for the electric meter.
the electric meter, I can look into that, I didn't realize that we did that. I mean, we did charge her for a meter, and you paid $170 in 2004 for it, you never got it, and you came in and we asked you to pay another, the same meter. You know, I can see where we should credit $170, but I wasn't aware of that.
How do we get the electric meter done?
Your builder will,
Your builder will do that.
you will take care of all that.
I am the builder.
Then you have to apply.
Well.
You have to, our electrician will get it for you then.
Asking for the box to be put in the box. to be put in.
Yeah.
The electrician will do that.
The
If
electrician runs the
you're able to come in this
meter,
week,
it doesn't run the box.
if you're able to come in this week, we can walk you through the building process again, or not again, but with August, and he can tell you at what point you need to ask for temporary service to build. I noticed that you did start building out there already, right? So, it'll be a timing issue between, you'll have to get your
What we need is the
infrastructure.
What we need is the box.
Yeah, and that box is gonna be provided by your builder, which you can come in and be in there at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll be happy to walk you through that process.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anything that isn't on the agenda? Yours will be on the agenda, I think.
Oh, okay.
Will be an agenda concerning the annexation.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We have some ordinances and stuff to work on later. If there's nobody else, let's go to manager's report.
I think we just about covered everything. I do want to tell you that this is my manager's report, and I wrote right up here, Arcadis update. I needed to make sure, and I wrote that, I interrupted our conversation with Dan and I to get up and write that on that. So I am ready. The water plant is coming along as planned. When we submitted it to the USDA back in February, late February, and they did approve our preliminary engineering report, and they also blessed the timeline, and we're actually about 3 weeks ahead of that right now, and we hope to keep doing that. My ultimate goal would be to get a full building season out of it, but I'm not sure that we're gonna be able to speed it up that much. But it is moving forward, and I got to see Matt happy last week when we left that meeting. Yeah, he was smiling about the meeting. Yeah. So we opened up the bid for tree pruning and removal, and there's a recommendation on your agenda. We can cover that's on new business. There is a report in your packet for the Salem area websites, and I know there's a lot of people from the chamber that would be interested in knowing that the Salem area websites, that's Larry Casiva original project. It's doing very well. I've actually got online, and he's got a temporary link for me to go around on there. He's actually integrating the kind of the Google Earth type thing that you see when you go log into Google Earth, and our infrastructure is being laid in there. It's already laid in there, so you can turn on and off different layers. And that was one of our business attraction tools that was recommended, and the chamber offered us a grant. We appreciate that. So I think his report says by the end of the summer we should be up and running, at least to get the bugs out anyways. Park and Cemetery, I know Terry's here. They did a lot of work on fund land. They put some new mulch down, doing some other improvements, and they've got still yet other improvements to do. I know you might get tired of me saying this, but the geese are still under control. You know, I don't know when football season starts, but it's got to be starting soon. Went by there, I think yesterday, drove by there, and there wasn't a goose out there in that practice field, so that was nice. So thanks for staying on that, because it takes perseverance, Terry, you know, to get out of hand. And I believe those two families that we talked about are gone.
There were 25 geese on yesterday.
Okay.
They were gone today.
I was gonna say, where were you, Terry?
We got them. Did you hear the bangs?
Just for the newbies, it's we got them means that we scared them away with legal fireworks. We had a lot of branches. We cut a lot in the park. Some safety vehicles to get through. We trimmed a bunch, and then a couple trees have actually fallen, and we've taken a few down, and the park crew is working diligently on doing that work. Electric department, Doug's been working on the LED, and he promises that we're coming to council soon on that project, so that's exciting. The street department, the paving's completed. I should note to council that Mr. Wood from West Woodland came in. We did go down there and met him, and we cleaned out that ditch, so we hope to use his appearances on West Salem Street. So hats off to the crews for getting out there. We did apply some hot mix, and we performed landscaping in Metz Road. We hope to be resurfacing that tomorrow. So hopefully that works out, and we will be chipping and sealing that tomorrow. Wastewater, they've been working on pressing the biosolids, and we've been working with the RCAP, the same people that did our water rate study. They're doing a couple things for the wastewater. They're doing a wastewater rate study, and they're also doing a capacity management operation maintenance program. That's a CMON. I know there's a couple engineers out there that know what that means. But it's basically to take care of our infrastructure and have a plan moving forward. So RCAP hopes to be coming to council and share that with us. We actually received a grant to do that project, so we're excited about that. Water department, they installed some meters, repaired several water line breaks, and repaired several and that's all I have to go on that.
Okay, by the way, Terry, the park's looking good. We're trimming a lot of trees.
Thank you.
Before we move on, I'd like to say something to the audience. You've read in lately about a school board that says you have to submit 10 days in advance, and if their board wants to hear it, they will. This council always wanted to hear from anybody, anything. A lot of times you surprise us, and that's the reason most towns, Salem for instance, I know don't let people speak, and they have a 5-minute time limit. And we have a lot to do tonight, and I'm sorry if anybody thinks we've shortened our speech, but we're one of the few towns that lets anybody speak on any subject, and it puts Lance and council and the law director disadvantage it sometimes. But we do appreciate everybody that talks. You have a copy of the bill list as of 7/21/15.
Mr. Mayor, point of order.
Yes.
We didn't discuss the Ohio Division of Liquor Control regarding an application for,
Is that not on here?
it's in the manager's report.
It's not on later on here? Okay, let's do that.
But I don't have a problem, but we have to say that.
We have to say we don't. This is for Village Sparkle Market. Their liquor license is up for review. We normally vote to ask for a hearing, and then we vote it down.
I'll move that we request a hearing.
Second.
Chief, you have no complaints about?
We have no complaints, including undercover compliance checks at that location. They're very cooperative, and they're very careful about who they tell to.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion and a second to request a hearing. Deanne?
Simpson?
No.
Becker?
No.
Souter?
No.
McBain?
No.
Schoniger?
No.
Callender?
No.
Now, thanks, Dick.
Welcome.
You have a copy of the bill list as of 7/21/15. Are there any questions on the checks that Lance has put out? If not, we will move on.
April, we have bid results for tree trimming, just above that. On 10.
Well, I'm ready to move on.
Okay.
We're going to do that next meeting. Go ahead with the bid results and explain what you have. According to the bids, Mike's Tree and Landscaping LLC, Alliance is the low bidder. And you're satisfied with their work?
Yeah, he did some work last year for us. We did the tree trimming, and this year they did get the tree trimming and the removal bid too.
Any questions for Lance on the tree trimming and tree grinding? So we have a motion on that then to accept Mike's Tree and Landscaping for tree trimming and stump grinding.
Is there an ordinance for that?
I think we have ordinance on that one, do we not?
Well,
It's item D.
I thought there was, but I didn't see
It's
one.
item 12D.
It is okay, maybe. I thought there was, but I was confused there. We have no old business, we'll move on to new business. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. First, could I have a motion to read them by title only?
Second.
Discussion?
I'd say discussion, one of the reasons why these are emergency, because we only have one meeting a month. There's no need to carry this out until September.
Dan?
Becker?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Schwank?
Yes.
Callender?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes?
Now, we have 1, 2, 3. I have 5 ordinances that need to be passed as emergency. Could I have a motion to suspend the normal 2 readings to pass them as emergencies?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Dan?
Souter?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Schwank?
Yes.
Callender?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Ordinance number 150-2827, an emergency ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Dallas Dawson and Associates Consulting Engineers for the purpose of providing engineering services for the design services for the State Route 714 intersection improvement project. Do I have a motion on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on this. Dan?
McBain?
Yes.
Schwank?
Yes.
Callender?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes.
Ordinance number 15-0-2828, an emergency ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with House and Baird Incorporated Civil Engineers and Surveyors for the purpose of providing engineering services for the State Route 14 waterline project for the city of Columbiana. Motion on this ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on this one. Dan?
Schwank?
Yes.
Callender?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes?
Becker?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance number 15-0-2829, an emergency. An emergency ordinance designated the services which the city of Columbiana shall provide to the territory proposed for annexation, upon acceptance of such annexation, by the city and being known as a parcel situated in Fairfield Township, Columbiana County, and containing 183.746 acres of land, more or less. Got a motion in this ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Discussion first from council.
May I suggest for all those out here that we read sections 1, 2, and 3 to make everybody aware of just what we're passing, because I know there's a lot of people here that's concerned what's happening here. That's my suggestion. If everybody else feels different, then I...
One, two, and 3. Section 1. Dick, I would nominate that you read section 1, I'll read section 2, Mary will read section 3, and Mr. McBain will read section 4.
I'll pass on
I can do that. Section 1, that the city of Columbiana has water, sewer, and electric utility services which may be extended to the territory proposed for annexation. And if the proposed annexation is otherwise approved and accepted by the city shall permit the petitioners to extend and tap into said services, provided that the petitioners shall not exceed 50,000 gallons of water and sewer usage per day, and provided further that the petitioners shall bear all costs incident to or arising from the design, approval, purchase, and installation of said utility services extended to and into and or through the annexed territory, including but not limited to the cost of the design, approval, purchase, and installation of lift stations anywhere situated, pipes, lines, electrical systems, and any other equipment or apparatus deemed necessary or appropriate by the city, provided further that the petitioner shall indemnify and save the city harmless from any and all such costs. Subject to the foregoing obligations, the petitioner said annexation may be provided within approximately 365 days after the approval of the design, therefore by the city, notwithstanding any other provision of this section. The petitioners may be reimbursed for all or portion of their costs of the public infrastructure improvements described in this section from service payments in lieu of taxes pursuant to section 5709.40 of the Ohio Revised Code.
There's two other sections in there, that wasn't the revised section. It's 509, 5709.40, 5709.42, and 5709.43 of the revised code. That's the
Okay. If and to the extent available and permissible, provided, however, that the city shall not pledge its full faith and credit or other security to the repayment of any obligations related to such public infrastructures, improvements, and or service payments in lieu of taxes.
Section 2, that if the proposed annexation is otherwise approved and accepted by the city of Columbiana, the city shall provide adequate police, fire, ambulance protection to the territory proposed for annexation upon annexation.
Mr. McBain?
Section 3, that if the proposed annexation is approved and adopted by the city of Columbiana, the city shall assume the maintenance responsibility for the following described roads. Esterly Road from Route 344 west to Cherry Creek Road, approximately 1,200 feet. Cherry Creek Road from Esterly Drive to Route 11 underpass, approximately 3,020 feet. And Esterly Drive, Whistler Drive, in parentheses, from Cherry Creek Road south to the railroad crossing, approximately 1,420 feet. Provided, however, in the event that the crossing of Esterly Drive, Whistler Drive, in parentheses, railroad crossing, the city shall thereafter assume no road maintenance responsibility for the following portions of Esterly Drive, Whistler Drive, in parentheses, from Cherry Creek Road south to the railroad crossing approximately 1,420 feet, but shall retain any and all utility easements rights within said portion of Vestry Drive, Bristol Drive.
Into section 4.
Any ordinance, resolution, order, or part, section, or subsection thereof which may be in conflict with the provisions of this ordinance shall be and hereby is repealed to the extent of such conflict.
There you have it. Now, questions from anybody? Mr. Hudson?
Not a question, but Cherry Creek, isn't that Cherry Fork?
It's Cherry Fork Road, that is Cherry Fork. Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we had that.
Yeah, it is proper in the ordinance.
I know we had this discussion, the production of water, 50,000 gallons a day. Matt does not have a problem with that in our current situation.
No.
Okay.
You know, and many citizens may be reading this and thinking of business coming to town. We've got an old water plant, you know, and it's gonna tax our system, but this area wouldn't, you know, 50,000 gallons a day is not going to affect us. Knowing that we're going to, you know, get a new water plant, a couple years down the road, and then revisit that water restriction.
Anyone else in the audience?
I don't believe they'll use that much water.
Yes, sir.
Is there plans to close the
Spell your name so we got.
Jacobs to Columbiana? Is there plans to shut down the railroad crossing?
There's a PUCO hearing. When is that, Ted?
Tomorrow.
When's the hearing for the PUCO tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
So that's when.
Out at Crestview School Auditorium.
How long do they have to rule on that then? Does anybody know?
You know, they have an evidentiary hearing then for the Norfolk Southern, and I believe that's in Columbus. But there's some questions about this meeting because it was published in the East Liverpool Review. They're required, well, I'm just telling you, they're required to publish for three weeks in a row in a circulation in a general circulation of the area in question, the advertising of the meeting. And I mean, just to show of hands, how many people in here read East Liverpool Review? East Liverpool Review?
So anyhow.
So go ahead. That's
That
it.
doesn't really affect us.
No, it's, but I'm just answering his question. Yeah.
There, just to explain a little further, there's a public hearing that is scheduled for tomorrow evening. The notice did go out in the newspaper, general circulation in Columbiana County.
East Liverpool Review isn't that though, is it?
But it is a newspaper of general circulation.
Okay.
So
This is the morning journal.
PUCO would have probably decided what newspaper. There is an evidentiary hearing that normally is in Columbus, and I'm not by any way, shape, or form in charge of that. However, that will probably not be for several months.
Answer your question. Okay. Anyone else in the audience? Mr. Haverfield, representative, any questions from you?
No, sir.
No, sir. An attorney,
Pass it, please.
an attorney that doesn't want to speak?
No, I think I've said enough tonight.
Anybody else up here?
I have a comment, sir.
Yes.
My name is Barry Miner, I'm Fairfield Township trustee, for those in the audience who don't know me. Last evening, the Board of Trustees approved the annexation for the significant development project of 183 acres of industrial property in Fairfield Township. Once again, the city has annexed Fairfield Township from Fairfield Township. For the last 20 years, it's nearing a total of 1,000 acres in the last 20 years. As a township trustee, I'm here this evening to start an open and honest dialogue with the city of Columbiana to benefit all the residents of the township. The township and the villages were laid out in 1805 by Matthias Lauer
and Joshua Dixon. We have always been one since 1805. Lately, the township has been at a disadvantage because of the lack of utilities. The area just annexed has always been prime for the development, and I hope the project comes to fruition for the community. I would like to start a discussion about the rest of the area around State Route 344 and State Route 11 corridor. I am here with my hand extended, hoping to start building a bridge between the city and the township for responsible and shared growth in the future.
Thank you, Barry. I believe the township will share in the real estate taxes from this, right? You'll still retain that.
Yes, we understand that.
Anyone else in the audience? Are we ready? Deanne?
Challenger?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes?
Becker?
Yes.
Sauer?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Schwanker?
Yes. Ordinance number 15-0-2830, an emergency ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Mike's Tree and Landscape LLC from Alliance for the furnishing of tree pruning for the city of Columbiana.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on Mike's Tree service. Ian?
Simpson?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Sauer?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Schwanker?
Yes.
Challenger?
Yes.
Lance, the ordinance you have for us to consider, is that an emergency ordinance?
Yes.
Could we have that to look at now?
It's 2 pages.
We have another ordinance that was prepared that didn't get into the agenda. It would be ordinance number 15-0-2833, which would be an emergency ordinance. And again, I'm going to take Dick's recommendation that we read this, if it's all right. I'll read the first, Dick, you can start the second, Mary third, and on down.
I don't think this was included in your original motion to pass as emergencies.
It was not.
So you did that
I did state the amount of ordinances, didn't I?
Yeah, this was not included, so you need to back to
I move to
Consider another ordinance as an emergency.
consider ordinance number 15-02833 as an emergency.
Second.
Discussion? Deanne?
Becker?
Yes.
Sauer?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Schwanker?
Yes.
Challenger?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we'll read this ordinance too, instead of doing it in short form. An emergency ordinance consenting to the annexation of 183.746 acres of land from the city of Columbiana pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 709.024 C1. Whereas on or about July 7th, 2015, Mark Hudson, an agent for the petitioners, filed a petition for annexation for a significant economic development project, in parentheses, the project, in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, Section 709.021, and specifically the spatial procedure for annexing land under 709.024 with the clerk of Columbiana County Board of Commissioners, requesting the annexation of 183.746 acres of land on Cherry Fork Road from Fairfield Township to the city of Columbiana. And whereas in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code Section 709.024B, Agent Mark Hudson, within 5 days of the filing of the petition with the Columbiana County Board of Commissioners, provided notice to the clerk of City Council of the city of the time and date when the annexation petition was filed, identified by the county in which it was filed, and provided the clerk of council with a copy of the petition and attachment. And, Dick, do you want to start there, a couple of paragraphs?
Yeah. Whereas in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, Section 709.024C1, council may, within 30 days of the filing of the petition, adopt a resolution, ordinance consenting to the proposed annexation. And whereas the developer and proposed owner of the property to be annexed has informed the city council of its need to begin construction of a project as soon as possible in light of the coming winter season in Ohio. Therefore, it be hereby ordained by the council of the city of Columbiana, state of Ohio, Section 1, that the city of Columbiana, by and through its council, hereby consents pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 709.024C1, to the proposed annexation of 183.746 acres of land as been fully depicted on the annexation plat attached here to and incorporated herein an Exhibit A from Fairfield Township, Columbiana County, or Columbiana City. Section
2.
Go ahead.
The city manager and/or clerk of council of the city are authorized to execute in all documents necessary to notify the Columbiana County Board of Commissioners of the adoption of this ordinance, consenting to the proposed annexation by filing with the Columbiana County Board of Commissioners a certified copy of this ordinance as soon as possible.
Section 3, that the publication of this ordinance shall be by short form in accordance with Section 6.15B of the amended charter of the city of Columbiana.
Okay.
Section 4, that this ordinance shall be and hereby is declared to be an emergency measure necessary to the preservation of the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the city of Columbiana and the inhabitants thereof by reason of the city's council intention to inform the aforementioned county board of commissioners of the city's consent to the proposed annexation within 30-day period of time set forth in section 709.024C1 of the Ohio Revised Code, and to assist the commencement of the project, and as such this ordinance shall take effect and be in full force and virtue immediately upon passage in accordance with the provisions of the amended charter of the city of Columbiana.
Okay. Could I have a motion on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Anybody in the audience want to speak on this? Two lawyers in the back, surely they want to say something.
Because I really feel bad if they don't say something.
Okay, I'll go first. I think the proposed ordinance speaks for itself. There's been a fair amount of publicity about the significant economic development project. I think council has heard, some comments with regard thereto. I guess the only thing I can ask as the agent for the petitioners is the council act on this resolution or this ordinance this evening so that this matter may proceed to the Columbiana County Commissioners as soon as possible for their approval. And then we have a few steps after that, obviously, that need to take place, but keeping this moving is certainly keeping the project as a very, very good possibility, and possibly Todd Hunt would like to comment on that. He knows more than I do.
I'm Todd Hunt. I am the attorney for AM Corporation, which is the developer and owner of Wilkie of the manufacturing plant on the property. And we thank you for your entertaining this evening. Hopefully it will be passed and it will go before the commissioners. We would ask that the clerk, if at all possible, make a signed certified copy of this over to the clerk of the county commissioners first thing in the morning and hopefully before their 9 a.m. meeting. We've asked that this be on the agenda of the commissioners tomorrow, just in case this is passed this evening. And we don't know if it is, but they may add it to the agenda. So if we can get that in place, it will save approximately 3 weeks on the other end, which is the construction end, which will be extremely helpful.
Thing is, emergency, in talking about emergency, it takes 5 votes. If it was done on 2 readings, it could take 4 votes, just so you know that. You want to go with the 5 votes? Anybody up here want to speak? Anybody else out there?
The only thing I'll add, if the clerk needs assistance getting that down to the county commissioner's office tomorrow morning, the agent for the petitioners will be happy to oblige the city council.
If this passes, we've made arrangements to get the certification done tonight rather than tomorrow. Which should
Thank you. Okay, very good.
Dan, Ted, Dick?
Call for the question.
Dan?
Stover,
Yes.
McBain,
Yes.
Schwanneker,
Yes.
Challenger, yes. Simpson,
Yes?
Becker,
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to resolution number 15-R-43.
point of order, we
Yes.
didn't do 2831. There are 2 Mike Street running.
Oh, there's too much to return. Okay, ordinance number 15-0-2031, an emergency ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Mike's Tree and Landscape, Alliance, Ohio, for the furnishing of tree removal and stump grinding for the city of Columbiana. Motion on this ordinance.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Well, I have a question about this. Previous meeting last, you mentioned, is this something that citizens can talk with the city about? Tree trimming on power lines in their property, or is this, you mentioned something about it a couple meetings ago, so I was kind of curious.
This contract is for the, basically the southern half of the city. And we've actually numbered the quadrants. I won't confuse anybody, because they're not the same quadrants as the trash pickup, but, so it is the southern half. And there's a certain distance that they will trim on primary, secondary lines and drops. So they will start, and when they do that, they will go out every footage of the southern half of the line, every line, and look at every service to the house, and look at those specs and trim back accordingly. Automatic. That's what
So
they
we're
do.
covered on.
You are covered.
Okay.
Yep.
Anybody else? Dan?
McBain,
Yes.
Schwanneker,
Yes.
Challenger, yes. Simpson,
Yes?
Becker,
Yes.
Sauer,
Yes.
Resolution number 15-R-483, the first reading. A resolution accepting the amount of rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
This is Columbiana County, right? First one. Questions on this? Discussion? This is a first reading. Deanne?
Schwanneker,
Yes.
Challenger, yes. Simpson,
Yes?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Resolution number 15-R-44, the first reading. A resolution accepting the amount and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. And this would be for the Mahoney County part. Could I have a motion on this resolution?
Second.
Discussion? Deanne?
Callender?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Schlenker?
Yes. Ordinance number 15-0-2832, the first reading. An ordinance amending chapter 1294, sections 1294.06B3 and 1294.06B6A of the Planning and Zoning Code of the Codified Ordinances of Columbiana, Ohio. Motion on this first reading.
So moved.
Second.
And discussion on that. Dan?
Simpson?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Schlenker?
Yes. I was just reading it, to see if I wanted to read anything from it.
Yes.
Need a motion to approve request from the Little Pepper Football to hold a tag day on Saturday, August 8, 2015,
So moved.
from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m.
Second.
What's that? Did I say it wrong?
No.
Oh, we moved in second.
It was rushed again.
Oh. It's moved and seconded. Deanne?
Becker?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Schlenker?
Yes.
Callender? Yes. Simpson?
Mary made me do it. Yes.
Something I've been waiting for all evening. When Mark Brothers is here, he always has some words of wisdom for us. Do we have any tonight? None. Zero.
Maybe next month.
Okay. Barry, your suggestion is well taken, and you're looking for a joint industrial district or something of that matter?
Well, I think at this point in time, Mayor Blakeman, you've changed your look.
Not looking any younger either.
No, I think what we need to do is actually sit down as two entities and discuss future possibilities along that corridor.
You're suggesting that we annex Fairfield Township?
No, I'm not.
That's it, we'll take it all.
You've already got about 1,000 from us in the last 20 years.
You don't want us to take the whole town?
No, I don't.
We're very thankful that, and accept that graciously.
Well, and I understand that.
That was said in jest, Barry.
I know that, Paul. And if you look at it, I think really nobody, and I don't know prior to I've been a township trustee for 5.5 years, how much discussion has ever happened that the two entities have worked together. I know in June of 2013, there was a discussion of a jet and didn't go anywhere. So I think we can start these discussions for the future. And I think we can all benefit from what has happened and what is going to come to this community if everything plays out as we've been told by the AMP Corporation.
The AMP Corporation people in the back, do you have anything to say?
We only got part of that discussion. A little bit elated about your approval or your consent tonight. Again, what it specifically is the question about a JED for that area? Is that the issue? Discussion of the JED?
That's what he's proposing in the future, yes.
It'll be in the future, Todd, not now. I would not want to convolute this issue in no way, shape, or form this evening.
I'm not thinking that there's anything that will really substantively affect us with the jet. Certainly will affect the township and the city, but I'm not sure it will affect us.
Okay, we went over it with the audience. It's been a long meeting. Anybody else? Now that you've heard
Solicitor
anything.
has something.
Before you go into executive session, the subject that relates to the AMP situation is the height, the building height.
Okay,
I need to bring this to your attention because there's a recommendation from the planning commission in the minutes that the building height in I-3 districts should be increased to 80 feet from 65 feet. I want to make sure that you know that there is also a provision in the code under 1260.06, which is called permitted height exceptions and allows any building presently to be increased by 15 feet with a certain 25% limitation of the rooftop area. The reason I'm bringing this to your attention now is that if you were to accept the planning commission recommendation to raise all IC uses to 80 feet, that would affect all zones, including any that were brought into the city. So you need to know that. And I'm suggesting to you that you can accomplish the same purpose by amending 1260.06 to eliminate that 25% roof area, which in effect gives the same permission to 85 feet, but doesn't allow another 15 feet on top of that.
Gotcha.
So the decision that, and I'm glad the planning commission members are here this evening to hear this. You could accept the recommendation, and then we'd have to set a public hearing. Public hearing has to be set no less than 30, no more than 60 days after receipt, which is tonight, and then we would go forward with that. If you are inclined, or the planning commission is inclined, to consider this other option, you could go back to the planning commission, basically disregard this recommendation, go back and bring the other recommendation to the next council meeting, and we could accomplish the purpose within virtually the same period of time. So I'm just giving you an option. It's planning commission's choice and council's choice.
I can say, as chair of the planning commission, there was never any intention to, and never thought actually about the section for the additional 15 feet. I, for one, would not have a problem. Be a straw poll for the rest of it. Go ahead, eliminating that extra 15 feet in a free area.
Okay, it's kind of an unusual situation, but the council will have to decide now whether or not they want to go back to the planning commission for further review. The planning commission might come back to the same thing. At least give them a chance to consider this option. Or you tell us tonight that you want to go forward with the recommendation they made, and then we have to set the public hearing. So you have to tell me what you want to do.
consensus of council.
I did a straw poll with the planning commission here a minute ago, and they're all in favor of proceeding with the elimination of the additional 15 feet in I-3 area. They're happy with us proceeding tonight.
With the
Changing the limit, doing away with the extra 15 feet in an I-3 area. Limiting to 85 feet period.
25%. The arrangement is if you have a building that's 65 feet right now,
Right.
you are permitted, without any change in the law, to go up another 15 feet to cover elevators, fans, all sorts of simple structures like that. But the condition is you can only cover 25% of the rooftop. What we're suggesting is if you eliminate that 25% limitation, then it can go up a full 15 feet.
The whole building.
For the whole building.
100%.
And if you do that, then the max is still 85 feet. If you do it the way planning commission originally suggested, you're actually allowing it to go up
95
to 100 feet.
Planning commission reasoning or thought was 85 feet, period. Would be 80 feet.
And I think you
15
want-
feet would be 80 and 65 would be 80.
But we made the motion for 85 feet.
Right.
Period.
Not
Right.
realizing that we have this other code section.
Forgetting if that was there, yes.
Okay, then, I'm understanding, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're not gonna ask us to set a public hearing on this, we're gonna go back and revisit it.
If you'd like to do it that way, that's fine.
Is that, don't see any names? Okay.
One point, and I was just talking to Gary Stoneburn, the National Refractory Formula Kaiser facility, that thing's higher than 75 or 95
I have no
feet.
doubt about that.
That's at least 100 feet. So does this affect that facility?
No.
Because it's already in existence.
It's already there.
Okay.
We could have him
Make
cut a
sure
few-
about that.
Could have him cut a few feet off, but
No, that's not a problem.
Ted?
The fire, equipment handle that?
Well, we have reciprocal agreements with Beaver Township that does have a truck that would reach that height, I think.
Beaver Township?
And Salem
Oh,
also.
okay.
but Ted, I asked a question about sprinklers or what have you for this height, and the answer I got that they would meet all the required codes, which would mean they would have to have some type of fire protection up there.
But that's true for, this particular development we're talking about. If we're talking about an ordinance which will allow this in other industrial areas or even in that area in the future. And so we would need to make sure that anytime someone comes with a plan for a building of that size, that they have those facilities doing as well. So it's, we need to take into consideration, it's not just this facility we're talking about all potentially things in the future.
In I-3.
It would come through that, and they still all would be required to meet all fire codes.
This works for you to make the whole building that? 80 feet?
I don't have the provision right in front of me. I tried to find it in my briefcase. What I'm concerned about is that it will require us to go back to the planning commission and get approval for the exception.
Sorry?
All you're doing is eliminating the 25% roof area. So why is this different than just increasing it to 80?
If you increase the allowance from 65 to 85, or 65, raise it by 90, raise it to 90 feet, this would allow another building to go another 15 feet above that. And that would also affect existing I-3 buildings, and we do have some. So I think the question for planning commission is, do we want to make sure, at least at this stage of the game, the greatest height, excluding possibly the Stoneburn property, would be 85 feet, would be
80 feet.
80. That's
It seems to work.
I think it works for it. And since planning commission is going to reconsider it anyway, if you have someone, you can review it. If you have a problem, you can let me know. We can take it up to planning commission.
The height issue rates defined here in column A, the 80 feet, because we have to be 85.
Okay, so I think everybody's on the same page.
Okay, anybody else?
Motion on this to send it back to planning commission. Need motion to send this back to planning commission.
No, we're just basically, we're not going to set a public hearing with confidence the planning commission is going to take us up again on the 11th of August and give us the new thought.
Okay, council comments before we go to another executive session.
Just an observation.
Yeah.
Within our park, I've lately seen, and again, more volunteers that go out and take part on their own time for cleaning up the flower beds, and it's certainly appreciated. For those of you that volunteer on that level, just know that you're being noticed.
Ted has another question?
No, I had a letter I would like to submit to the planning commission and the council.
Okay.
regarding a possible buffer out there.
Okay, you can do that.
I'll just
You can give it to Lance at the end of the meeting.
Okay,
Or Deanne.
okay.
They'll meet the second to
August 11th, I think.
August 11th, yeah, they'll meet.
I just have a quick comment. You know, Lance, we had one of the things in the report you didn't cover was the lady who talked about the railroad equipment stored on the siding down off Fitzpatrick Street.
Yes.
And while we were walking the dogs, we noticed the caboose and the other equipment sitting there, and being somewhat of a railroad buff, I went over to take pictures of it, and she talked to me at the same time when I was there as well. I know in your letter to us, you said that it's an ongoing railroad operation, business and everything. I just took some pictures and passed them down so people can look at them. Some of the equipment is used for replacing ties and things of that sort, I believe. And I question whether or not it's an ongoing railroad operation or if it's simply storage of equipment on the siding, and whether or not council feels that's appropriate. I wouldn't mind having a caboose in my backyard, but not everybody else would like that. The other equipment, though, is rusted. It's sitting there. It's not doing anything. It's been there for a long time, and it is an eyesore. And I just question whether or not that is an appropriate use of the siding, or whether it is ongoing railroad business. I know you said it was going to be removed later in the summer, but I just want to express my concerns about it.
Maybe you can chat with them.
I can definitely reach out to them.
Do we have any jurisdiction? That's the question.
I have no idea. It just seems to me that they're storing equipment there as opposed to using it in ongoing maintenance of the railroad. And I don't know if that's an appropriate use for it or not. And we may not have jurisdiction.
Looking at the photograph of the rails going on down through there, they definitely need to use that equipment.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for their patience tonight. We accomplished a lot of things without our mayor here tonight. I want to thank everybody, and we need a motion to go into another executive session. There will be no action taken after this, so this will be the end of the meeting.
Yes.
Discussion. Anybody would like to stay longer?
10 more minutes, come on.
Move with adjourn.
We need to vote for this first.
I know when I say yes, I'll leave it.
McBain?
Yes.
Schwanninger?
Yes.
Challenger? Yes. Simpson?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes.
Thank you.
I did.